Pipe Network presents.
Oh, and just a heads up, we may talk about things that are potentially triggering for you, so listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the pre-show show of the show.
Show.
I haven't said pre-show. I realized I didn't say those that title of the segment for
yeah.
like the past
2
two recordings.
episodes, yeah.
So this is like the first time I've said that. Yeah, welcome to the pre-show show. So, of course, as always, we have a new game for everyone. And remember how last week I did offer that we are going to talk about a movie. It's like a movie night. Ooh. But I'll explain more about it later. We also have a special guest, but silent muna, special guest, is actually listening to us right now. And today's topic will be all about stories that inspired movies or, anything that has something to do with movies. Because I'm not sure what Niña's story is. I'm not sure what angle she's going to go for. I asked her what it was, and she gave me a very confusing answer.
Yes.
But anyway...
As always, what's new with that?
This is what's new. Why do you seem so scared?
Hi, I'm Niña.
And my name is Andrew.
Welcome to the Frightening, Alarming, Real-Life Tales Show.
A podcast where we talk about scary stories that happened in real life. If you were a part of this terrorist group, you would be targeted and killed by the aswang.
These 3 girls, their friends, 2 of them decided to stab their other friend just to please Slenderman.
Bigfoot is the internet influencer of the monster world.
It killed 19 American servicemen that day.
So sit back, relax, and try not to go crazy with fright.
Aren't we all crazy?
I want this show to be family friendly.
Family friendly, we talk about murder and horror and all that crap.
And welcome to another episode of the Frightening, Alarming, Real Life Tales Show. I am Andrew, your host, and I am with my co-host, Niña. Say hi.
Hi.
And
Hello.
And of course, we have a special guest. I teased that earlier. And this special guest is the first time we've had a guest that is outside of the FARTS family. FARTS gang. So please help me welcome. We are so nervous right now. I have no idea how this is gonna go down. I hope this goes down really well. Please say hello to my podcast friend Wesley of WREVIEW.
Hey, hello Andrew, hello Niña. Hello sa listeners ng FARTS. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Okay, so we are gonna be talking more about we're actually going to have our interview with you later in the show. It's the structure of the show is very unconventional. Earlier,
Very us.
yes. Earlier, diba, I said that we are going to be doing a new segment. And I've decided to call it Fright Flick.
Ooh.
I don't have a theme song for it. I was supposed to
Not
make
yet?
a theme song for it. Yeah, not yet. I was supposed to make a theme song for it, but I forgot to do it. So now,
Good job.
now I have to face the consequences of not making the theme song. So just pretend I play the theme song, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna add it in post because I'm lazy. But essentially, this is an extension of last season's
Shits.
game. No, not shits. That we did, like, Will I Survive? You know what?
yeah,
why
yeah.
why don't I just play Will I Survive, the theme song? Yeah, I'll just play that. Here we go.
Temporary. Oh.
At first I was afraid I was petrified. Kept thinking, how the hell am I gonna survive this fright? Then I spent so many nights thinking, where did I go wrong? Will I survive? Will I survive? Hey, hey. Okay, so yeah, that's Will I Survive? Essentially, the Fright Flick is like an extension of Will I Survive. If you remembered from last season, we talked about if me and Niña were put in this movie, would we survive? Okay, and we found out quite quickly that the answer is always no.
It's almost a guaranteed no.
Yeah, it's always a guaranteed no. Unless you're Mars and you say, fuck this shit, I'm out. Yeah, which is what she did. And essentially, she survived.
Survived.
I think it was Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah.
Jurassic Park.
So that's what she did. So, of course, you guys don't know what film we're going to be talking about, but that's where this other game will come in. It's actually inspired by the big brain charades of Smosh and this game from SciShow Tangents and crossword puzzles. And I call this Name Rhyme Game Time. Yes. So Name Rhyme Game Time is a this game that I copied essentially because mahirap mag-make ng games. But anyway, it's very easy to play, but it's hard to explain. So let me let me just make sure I do this right. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a sentence, right? Tapos, whatever that answer is, the next question will have to rhyme from that answer. And then, all those three answers will rhyme with the movie that we are watching or we are going to be talking about. Gets? Was I able to explain it?
I think. I don't know, but I only have like 2 brain cells.
But do you get it, right?
I believe so.
Anyway, let's play
Bonus round.
Name Rhyme Game Time. I love interrupting you. Okay, so the first
course.
sentence is water in its gaseous state. What is it?
Vapor.
Okay. You guys know the movie we're gonna be talking about, right? So
I think so.
It's going to rhyme with that. So think of whatever that rhymes that is.
Is it like, I don't know, I have advantage because I know the movie.
Well, Wesley also knows the movie.
Oh, okay. Steam.
Yeah, it's Steam. Yeah. So
Okay.
okay.
Because I'm like concerned because like I don't know if like Wesley like knows the movie too. I'm like, wait, advantage.
Okay, the next word, or this is the next sentence. So everything else will rhyme from Steam. Okay.
Mhm.
Jokes on the internet.
Meme.
Meme.
Yes. You guys are smart. Okay, and
Smart.
last word is a series of images or stories that your mind makes while you are sleeping.
Dream.
Dream.
And can you guys at home or can the listeners guess what movie we are going to be talking about? If you don't know, well, it's Scream. Ah! Okay, so we're going to be talking about Scream. This game is stupid. Okay, so
Kailan mo napanood to, Andrew? Just now,
I've watched
before
it.
the recording.
I've watched it 3 times in the past 4 weeks.
I think I've watched this like 10 times already.
What?
Ah,
Ooh, so we have
wow.
a resident fan
It's one of those,
Scream.
it's one of those classics kasi in the genre, 'di ba? It's one of the first movies to start the trend in the yung who done it, who's the killer, who's the suspect. Tsaka nandun
Yes.
yung fun eh.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. And it's also
Mm.
actually the movie that revived the dying horror genre in the 90s, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So I love this game. I love this game. I love this movie because it has one of the best horror movie openings ever.
Mhm. Mm.
Um, it's you know what? The movie has been out since 1997. I think we can say that.
6.
I think we can talk about spoilers. Sorry,
1997 is like
1996.
the second one. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, if you haven't yet watched yung Scream, what are you doing with your life, 'di ba?
I know, right? Diba?
I'll be very I have a confession. I think I watched it for like I watched like bits and pieces lang, and then kahapon na ako nanood it. I just watched it yesterday for like the entire thing. I'm like, okay, I can now officially say I have officially watched it.
Oh, but if you haven't watched Scream for some bizarre reason, you can actually just watch Scary Movie because it's that's
Mm.
basically what
It's
happened.
it's a parody, no?
Yeah, it's the parody film. Um, so yun, it's actually the movie that inspired the season 2 trailer for Farts. That's why I chose this as the first film that we're going to be talking about. A lot of things in Scream. First of all, it's very meta. Like it's like a
Mhm.
genre of meta horror where everyone is aware of horror movie tropes, even though they
Yeah,
do
the horror rules of
yeah the
like what
horror
not to
rules,
do.
even though they commit it themselves. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have like
Mm.
other tidbits that we should know about Scream as our
Oh,
resident
okay.
ano
Mm.
movie
What's
reviewer?
nice What's nice kasi about the Scream franchise, not only yung movies, yung 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the TV series. The entire franchise kasi it's a horror movie. It's a good horror movie. It's a good horror franchise while celebrating the horror genre itself. So it's aware na hindi siya yung naunang horror movie dun sa genre.
Would you consider it as Wes Craving's Wes Craving's Wes Craven's magnum opus? God, so
Yes,
stupid.
oo. Oo naman.
Sorry.
Go get go fulfill your cravings. Uy.
Order mo na
You
ako ng
have.
McDo. We're gonna take a break. De
Food
joke.
panda na yan.
Was it better than A Nightmare on Elm Street or yung other movies niya? You can't really say, no? Pero Scream is another film franchise in itself eh. It's something Wes Craven has done in the past years na talagang, alam mo yun, tumatak sa pop culture. Di lang ng US eh, even in other countries eh.
I heard na there's gonna be like a Scream like redo or revive or something in like next year, 2022. Will you guys be watching that?
Scream 5.
5 is it? Because like I think I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a poster I just saw.
But I think it's just stylized as Scream 2020.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think so
But it's
too.
like 5. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the 5th
Will
installment.
you guys be watching?
Of course. Duh. That's why
Yes.
I'm gonna be catching up with the other films. We're not here to steal Wesley's, thing of him reviewing films. I didn't tell Wesley this. We're going to be reviewing the actions that the characters made in the film.
So if you haven't watched, like, I suggest pause this podcast, go watch it, and then come back.
No.
to us and then give
Listen
us-
to the podcast, finish the episode, and then watch the film.
Or you can listen to the podcast twice. So, diba?
Yeah. You had like how many years to catch up?
Don't be like me.
Tapos hindi nyo pa pinanood.
Don't be like me, guys.
Yeah. Don't be like Niña. Okay. So, I want to start by saying I wrote down in my notes that Billy, Sydney's boyfriend in the first film, equals really hot.
Priorities.
So that is
Important note.
That is a very important note. I underlined it 3 times. I'll even show you a picture later. It's underlined 3
Post
times.
it on Discord, on our Discord channel.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we actually have a Discord. We've been advertising it since episode 1. Just go to the link, click it, and make sure you choose your horror movie trope character type thingy, and you'll be able to enter the whole server. Anyway, I want to start with Casey. Actually, Casey was played by Drew Barrymore, who was actually casted as who was thought to be casted as the main character. Pero once she read the script, she was like, "Can I please have this?" And then of course they gave it to her. So she's the first person to die in the whole film. And I just want to say that Casey was very smart for ending the call the first few times, but then she got dumb because she kept on answering the phone when she knew that the call was getting creepy. She should have just ignored it, went outside, and end of story. She would have survived.
Yeah. Or like,
Okay.
I don't know, called like 911 immediately
Yes.
once.
Do
like,
not answer
yeah.
phones, diba?
It's like that's someone you don't know. Why would you answer? That's why I don't pick up phone calls.
She also did the smart thing by locking all the doors.
For me, I think it's like she didn't lock the doors in the first place. She like kept it open. She locked it like when the call started coming in, which is like, dude, you're alone in the house in the middle of nowhere. Why would you not lock your door?
I guess that's also like a
hello?
very dumb move. She should have locked the doors knowing her parents was not going to be
Yeah.
in the house.
Like I get that her boyfriend was like coming over and whatever, but like the boyfriend could like knock or call her when like he's outside now,
True.
not keep the door open for strangers to like come in. I get that like there's no one in the she's in the middle of nowhere, but still, you never know.
She was also very dumb for asking who's there. They did mention it in the movie, diba?
Yeah.
Parang
Yeah. You
the
should
killer
never
was
ask.
like, you should never ask who's there. Don't you know that's how you're gonna get killed? And, spoiler, she does get killed. In the big chase scene, for her final moment in the movie, she got out. What she should have done was she should have ran instead of looking back at the house. That's how the killer found her. She essentially got caught and then she died.
She's
That's it.
dumb.
And that is a very, very solid review from Wesley.
It's something comedic kasi sa mga horror movie, no, na alam mo naman na dapat hindi niya ginawa, pero ginawa pa rin niya.
Now we move on to Tatum Riley, who was the best friend of Sydney. Yeah, I wrote here, she was the throwaway bestie. So, so that she was gonna die. But during her final moment in the film, she should have opened the garage door when she had the chance.
Oh yeah. Like
Kasi she actually tried to open the door to the house, but found that it was locked. And then the switch of the garage door was there. So she could have just
by
lifted
the
it up
door.
and then ran for that.
Like the bit where like she threw bottles at what's his face?
Ghostface.
Yeah, Ghostface. And then like I'm like you could like throw the bottle, click the button, run, throw the bottle again, and then keep running.
Did
Like,
she
why
really
you-
think nakasya siya dun sa ano?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
the
like,
most
why would
funniest
you-
death. Because
Like
her boobs got stuck. So a lesson here, guys, is do not have big boobs. Otherwise,
Hindi hindi ko talaga kasi maintindihan bakit pinilit pa niyang pumasok. Yung actress kasi was Rose McGowan. Isa siya dun sa mga sisters sa Charmed.
I knew why I knew her.
Tapos why so stupid? Paige. Di ba siya?
Now I want to move on to the police.
Dewey or something.
Not just Dewey, but the whole police force. I'm treating it as one character. The police are infamous in horror movies as being very useless, and they prove that point once again in this film. So they just freely touch all the evidence without gloves. So their fingerprints are all over the place. How did Dewey survive? Well, it was because he was a virgin, um, which is a horror movie trope. But he survived barely. To be fair, he's very cute. So that's what I wrote down for the police. Now, Gail Weathers. She is one of my favorite characters in the movie and of course the series. I have nothing to say for her. She's like perfect. And moving on to the final character that I have on my list, Sydney, who is the final girl. Just going down the list, she made a lot of stupid mistakes. It should have been a red flag when Billy said, even though he's hot, he said the line, "I was watching The Exorcist and it made me think of us." And I was like, who watches The Exorcist and thinks about their relationship? That is a red flag. You,
Yeah.
girl, need to dump him because that is uber creepy
Run.
behavior. The friends are also a red flag because they are very creepy.
But we're creepy too.
But we're creepy together. They were creepy
Okay.
to her.
like when they were talking about the mom, and then like they know, and then like it just happened last year, and then like you can obviously see that like the character was like not comfortable with like the conversation that they were having about like murder and stuff, and then like she had to leave at some point, like in their friend group.
I know, right?
Why do you keep being friends with them? Okay.
And 1 year pa lang eh. Kakamatay pa lang, di ba? 1
If
year.
we were there, we'd be like, girl, ang toxic nila, punta ka dito sa
Yeah,
amin.
like
Hang out
this is
tayo.
not a healthy like friendship.
But then if we do invite Sydney to our group, we know we're gonna be targeted next. So,
Like
change of
stay there.
plans, wag na lang. I take my statement back.
I mean, we can just wait.
Sydney's
to
all
her from
yours.
afar.
Yeah, Sydney's all yours.
Bye.
When the news broke out that Casey was killed in the school, shouldn't she have called her dad right away to tell him what happened and to let him know that there is a murder on the loose? Even though, like, of course, we find out that the dad was kidnapped rin pala. But, shouldn't she have done that as well? Or at least tried to do that? I don't know. That's
Yeah,
that's just me.
she never did.
Hindi niya ginawa.
Which was very stupid. It was only when the killer attacked her in her house that she asked the police to find her dad. Okay, she's also very smart and aware of the tropes, which is a good thing. But then she constantly breaks the tropes. No, she constantly proves the tropes, which is very stupid of her. And my favorite scene that she did was when she was talking to Gail after the night that she was attacked by Ghostface, and then Gail was like, "Oh, I'll send you a copy," and then, bam,
Punch.
right in the face. That is my favorite scene of the film. Aside from Billy shirtless and Tatum getting her boobs stuck in the garage door, that is one of my favorite scenes. So we can all agree that everything I said was right.
That they're all stupid though.
It is actually one of my fantasies to be chased
To be
by
what?
Is that
to be chased by
To be like the other
Ghostface,
killer.
especially if the killer was Billy. Anyway,
What if it's Michael Myers?
wag na lang. Billy lang. Without the mask, please. And then don't stab me with a knife. Stab me with something else. But anyway, thank you so much. That was Will I Survive? What is our verdict, guys? If we were in that film, would we survive? Yes or no?
Definitely not.
no? Like obviously no.
And there you have it. That is your answer, guys. We will not survive because just like the characters in the film, we are also stupid. We're going to be taking a break. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about other films, but not in the way that you would think it. We're actually going to give the real stories behind famous horror films. So we'll be right back. Andrew here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. We put so much work into it. If you want to show your love for this show, then you should tell people about us. Share the love. Spread the word. Join us. And we are back. Of course, it's my turn, so of course, I'll play my theme song.
Story for you. In this hand of mine, you can't stop the things I do. I lie. I've searched high and low, wrote down an essay. Now Andrew is back, and there's hell to pay. There's a story for you. And this hand
Okay, so my story is about actually the real story behind the Exorcism of Emily Rose. So are we all familiar of this film?
Yeah.
It's a very iconic film. There was vomiting on priests and urinating on the floor. There was a lot of that. But what I'm going to be talking about is the story that inspired this film, which was called The Exorcism of Anneliese Michel? Michelle? I don't know. Anyway, here it goes.
We butcher names in the show. Thank you very much. Anytime you need butchering, call us.
Oh, yeah, we are serial killers, not of people, but of names. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
So in 1968, a 17-year-old began to suffer from convulsions. So they brought her to the doctors, and she was diagnosed with grand mal epilepsy and depression at the psychiatric clinic of Wurzburg. In the 1960s, the treatment for mental health was actually becoming better. So, with the right medication, they could have eased the suffering of this 17-year-old girl. But the parents were devout Catholics. And I think this is where it all goes down to hell. Instead of asking doctors for help, they actually asked the priests to treat the sickness of whatever was happening. Priests know nothing about
Medical.
medical stuff, let alone mental health things. So that is where everything goes downhill. It was actually because of the priests that encouraged 17-year-old girl to have devilish hallucinations while praying. Tapos, apparently, the girl was starting to hear voices saying that she was damned and all that. And I think it was a lot to do with the priests. The 17-year-old girl, whose name was actually Anneliese Michel. I don't want to say her last name anymore. I'll call her Anneliese.
Sure. Okay.
So I want to take it back a little bit. Back to when she was just a normal 17-year-old. The thought that she might be possessed by a demon was actually planted when she went to a pilgrimage, and then an old woman noticed that Anneliese would avoid certain images of Jesus and refused to drink from the holy spring, and that Anneliese smelled hellishly bad, according to this old woman. So she deduced that, possession, demon possession. And then,
Hindi lang walang proper hygiene.
yep. So this is where, everything goes downhill, kanina. This is where everything crashes and burns. They called an exorcist from a nearby town, and then, of course, the priest was like, oh, confirmed, this is possession. Now give me money. But anyway,
He did it for clout.
after 2 failed requests from the bishop, they were granted the right to exorcise by the Bishop of Wurzburg. God, stupid name.
Butcher.
Wurzburg. Okay.
Wurzburg.
So they started doing these things, the rituals and all that, and it was so gruesome. But according to the priest, she was possessed by Lucifer, Judas, Nero, Cain, Hitler, and a disgraced Frankish priest, and a lot more others. Basically, The Exorcist, in the movie, it was done by one person, but in real life, it was actually done by two priests. One was named Father Arnold Renz, and the other was Pastor Ernst Alt. So they did 67 rites of exorcism over the period of 10 months. And then some sessions actually lasted for more than 4 hours. A lot of it included like kneeling down and praying and stuff like that. During the course of those 10 months, she actually did many, see Anneliese, she did a lot of disturbing things. She would lick her own urine off the floor. Um, she would eat flies.
That's why she's licking it off the floor. She's trying to clean the floor, guys. Clean the floor.
Um, aside from licking urine off of the floor, she ate flies, spiders, and coal. Okay, she bit off the head of a dead bird. She
Where
crawled.
did she get the dead bird, though? Did someone give it to her? Why would anyone give her a dead bird?
I don't know. Ask her.
I'm trying to ask her.
I'm
But
just
there's no
reading
trying
off
to
of what I researched. God, stop pressuring me.
pressure.
Aside from that, she also crawled under a table and then barked like a dog for 2 days, which is like,
Normal kid stuff.
yeah, normal kid stuff. And then the parents were probably like, "Oh, that's just hormones." Uh,
It's a phase.
yeah, it's just a
It's just a
phase.
phase.
I'm just in my phase, mom. Um, or stupid. Um, of course, aside from that, she would scream for hours, apparently, and then she would tear off her clothes. Those were some of the tamer ones. A year later since starting the exorcism, she died. And according to medical research, she tore her knee ligaments. It ruptured kasi she would have to, fall onto her knees as a sign of submission to the Lord. We call that genuflections. In the course of her exorcism, she actually did over 600 genuflections.
You can only bend your knees for so long. Like stay in that position for so long.
Oh, that's not what he said. Um, okay, so on June 30, which is a day after my birthday, a few years before, in 1976, it was her last rite of exorcism before she died. During that time, she was too weak from hunger because apparently she wouldn't eat. Or she believed that she could fast the demons out of her. She was so weak that her parents stood beside her, carried her through the genuflections, so they would drop her to the floor.
That's really horrible though. Then you can see them suffering and stuff, and then you still try to force them into it, and then help them to be in that position.
It's not demons anymore if you've been exercising for 10 months and nothing is happening. And of course, she died a few days later because of starvation, pneumonia, and high fever. Now, after the death of Anneliese, the two priests and her parents were found guilty of negligent homicide. All of them were sentenced to prison for 6 months, and then they were let out with probation for the next 3 years. A few years later, the movie Exorcism of Emily Rose was released, and actually, the mom was still alive when the movie was released.
Did you watch it?
They tried to get her to comment on the movie, but she actually said she refuses to acknowledge the existence of the film. Because, of course, diba, parang it was my fault. I accidentally killed my own daughter because of my stupidity. And
Well, at least she was aware of it though.
yeah. So that's my fart, guys. Any violent reactions? Any demon possessions?
Ang sad lang no kasi sa starvation tsaka exhaustion siya namatay. Hindi dun sa possession mismo.
What about the priests? Were they not charged with anything? Because I think
Oh
they
no, they were
were.
all charged.
Yeah.
They were all
Yeah. Okay.
charged with negligent homicide. Kasi they neglected her needs. They
Uh-uh.
neglected to uh let her
Food,
see a psychiatrist, a like
doctor,
doctor,
basic doctor
uh
na lang sana.
and mga basic needs niya like food, water. They failed to give her that. And it resulted in her dying. So they were charged with
Yung
that.
movie ata dun din umikot eh. It not so much about the gore or the possession mismo, pero dun sa negligence na nangyari. Parang yun yung dinocument nung movie.
You know, just saying, I really have to watch the film. I've only seen Scary Movie 2, which parodized that. And I have read a lot about the Exorcism of Emily Rose. You know, that's probably on my to
You wanna
watch
watch
list.
together? I haven't watched it too because I was like too chicken shit.
I don't want to talk about it on the show, but maybe someday we'll watch it.
Like for hangout and stuff.
So that's it, guys. That's my fart. We're gonna be taking one more break. And when we come back, it's Niña's turn to tell her story. So, Niña, I hope you're ready. We gave you ample time
Yes.
to prepare.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
I like to have a good time when I listen to my horror podcast.
Her left arm
Oh,
was
that's
chopped
so.
off.
Oh my god, really?
Caused a panic all over the
Prolonged
country.
their deaths for like months and
The
months.
frightening, alarming, real-life tale show is my horror podcast. My horror podcast. That's
Give
it.
Pause it.
This is your scary fart?
Be scared and laugh hard with the frightening, alarming, real-life tales show every Friday on all major podcasting platforms. Don't say I didn't warn you.
You know, in the record of, recording farts since the beginning, this episode has had the quickest breaks in the world. You guys don't know, but our breaks was only like 1 minute or something like that. 1 to 2 minutes, which is, very. I just wanted to put that out into the universe. But anyway, okay, Niña, 1 or 2?
3. Either way, you're gonna play something.
Something for your ear hole, a tale to scare. This one talks about a murder, that one wails about a ghost, and will Niña read them? Yes, indeed. Now something for your ear holes, a tale to scare. Searching here and there and everywhere, crying stories. Niña, please, can't you read them? Oh yes, she
Does. It's does. Not do. Does. Okay, Niña. Please.
So, what I'll be talking about mainly focuses on, the one guy that inspires, a bunch of movies. With roughly 7 movies, Ed Gein basically had made his name for being a psychotic murderer and a body snatcher for movies like the 1960s Psycho, 1974's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Silence of the Lambs back in 1991. Basically, it took the character, the characters in the film generally have a thing with flesh, just like he did. And then with him, he was born back in 1906 in USA. He's basically he's super notorious and inspired, just not films but as well as books. And even as a young child, he had a terrible childhood. His father was alcoholic, and then his mother was super verbally abusive towards him. But he still idolizes his mom, and back in 1944, his brother Henry died under mysterious circumstances during a fire. near like their family's farm. So even if like he actually called in the police, like he's reported his brother missing, when the police came by, he was able to like, direct them to where the burned body was, which is like honestly when I read this bit is like kind of sus. Like you reported your brother as missing, and then you directed the police to where the body is. I'm like,
Wait, who
So
are we
yeah,
talking about? You haven't said the name.
I've been saying the name Ed Gain.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear it.
Yeah. His full name is Edward Theodore Gain. He's also called the Butcher of Plainfield. Like I mentioned his name like 3 times now.
I didn't hear it. Sorry.
Sorry, my bad if you didn't hear the name.
Continue.
So yeah, where was I? Like, wait lang. I got lost.
Sa my elevator, Beb.
Yeah, like nakaupo ako pero I got lost.
Are you lost, baby girl?
So even if like he found the body, like even if it was like really suspicious that like he was able to like almost immediately point to the police now where the body is of his brother. Like they checked for like bruises discovered on the victim's head, but like they ruled the death to be an accident. So he made a shrine for his mom, and then in 1957, he got the attention of the police, when like a hardware store owner called Bernice Warden went missing. I believe his son was a police officer who basically was like the son was like super suspicious of Gain for when his mom went missing. So they decided to like check his farm, and that's when they found like the mom's body. So the mom was actually like been fatally shot and decapitated.
Ah.
So yeah, aside from Gain killing the mother of the police, they also found body parts, and like because they found out that he was systematically grave robbing and collecting the body parts of different people, specifically generally women, and he would use these body parts to like make them into household items, clothing, and masks.
Oh, so like real
In
life Minecraft or something like that. Honestly, same.
Yeah,
Honestly, mood. Sure.
yeah. Like for him, siguro Minecraft is such mood. So like later on in the property, like while searching through thoroughly, they also found the head of a Mary Hogan, a tavern operator who disappeared in like 1954. That was like a few years before like when the hardware store owner was missing as well. So later on, Gain admitted to killing both women who allegedly resembled his mom now. But he pled not guilty because he's like, I'm insane. You can't like put me in jail because I'm insane. So
I'm
yeah.
insane. Can't put me in jail.
So in 1957, he was deemed unfit for trial because again he pled for insanity, and which is like confirmed by various institutions. Later on, in like a few years later on, in 1968, it was deemed that he can try to participate in his own defense when he was put into trial, and he was found guilty. And what happened here was he basically stayed in like the mental hospital for until he died, wherein in this one his cause of death was respiratory and heart failure due to lung cancer.
Duh.
So yeah, that's his like that's his entire thing. But like for like general movies, like a lot of like movies like took like the inspiration from him for like being a body snatcher, for like using like items as, or like using like bodies of people as items for themselves, like masks, especially by Texas Chainsaw Massacre na si Leatherface, who has,
Leatherface.
yeah, so like he hid himself with like a handmade mask niya, made out of like flesh of other people.
Oh, he was ahead of
So
his
yeah.
time. He should have been, if he's talking about making DIY masks, like parang girl, mga few years pa, mga 2020 pa yan maging uso during
He
the
was like way
pandemic.
ahead of his
Uh-uh.
time. So yeah, but like there was also like an article that like it was never really proven, but he allegedly, or like it was widely assumed that he would eat the corpses of his victims. Siguro like parts na hindi niya ginagamit, he would like eat it, because that's what they thought of the idea for the movie Three on a
Silent.
on a Meat Hook in 1972.
And also Hannibal Lecter, right?
Silence
I
of the
What's the
believe
name?
Lambs.
so.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, three on a Meat Hook, and then there's also the movie The Rage in 1974. He has like a lot of movies, and then like there's this also like dark comedy na like Ed and His Mother in 1993. Na like basically his mom becomes a zombie, and then like, so this is like Ed and his mom na movie na synopsis na his mom becomes a zombie, and like he ends up destroying his own mother, even if like he loves his mom so much, na obsessed siya sa mom niya, like he basically made a deal with some guy to resurrect his mom. He's also in the movie. He was also like the inspiration for the movie in 2014, The Child of God. It's like slasher comedy drama though, the movie.
Buti pa siya. Marami siyang movies.
Dami, is like he's like super famous. He's like so many movies. Like tayo, kaya
'Di ba? Tayo parang
wala tayong movie. Cause like
we only have this podcast.
yeah.
Same.
So yun, like a lot of, like even if he was found with like a lot of bodies, he only admitted to 2 murders. But like, who knows really?
Wow, ang
No,
kapal
who
ng
knows?
mukha, girl. 2 murders lang.
2 murders lang daw, sabi niya. But like he has like a ton of body parts, and he's like, oh no, I just got the rest of them from
Yeah,
the grave over there.
those were
Like these
sold
are
to
mine.
me. Actually, I got this from the antique shop na down the road.
I'm
This one
collecting
is
body
mine.
parts.
Yeah, I'm just into collecting body parts actually. These are not mine talaga.
So yeah, so that's my fart.
Thank you so much, Nins, for that lovely
It's
fart.
like it's dark and like, it's like still real life and dark, from similar with last time, but like it's not a lot less scary, because like this was back in 19 somethings. Like the guy's dead by now, so it's fine.
Well, you literally said that he died of cancer.
Exactly. So it's fine.
So
Nagulat lang ako na siya pala yung inspiration for both Leatherface and Hannibal Lecter.
He's like he has like 7 movies if I
Like
counted it right.
the murderer of Plainfield, right? Wisconsin. Nice.
Yeah, that's like his parang title niya, the butcher of Plainfield. Because like he butchers them, and then like he has like 2 trophies basically of like the 2 women he killed, like the decapitated head of people, and then the rest are like, okay, the rest of the body parts, okay, you're my chair now, you're this now, and then like, okay, I like you, this one, you'll be my mask.
I'm trying to save myself from the virus, kaya ako nagmask. I put
Super excited siya sa virus.
I killed this woman para I can wear her mask. Anyway, I don't want to get canceled.
I'm surprised na hindi pa nga tayo canceled.
Thank you so much, Nins, for that. I'm not gonna say wonderful fart because that is very disturbing, and very smelly, and
Until the next disturbing one.
we're gonna take our final break before we come back, and of course, it will all be about Wesley. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Andrew. You may know me as the co host of the frightening, alarming, real life tale show. But did you know that I also make video blogs? Yeah, they're all on Facebook. So come and join me in all the crazy adventures that I get up to at www.facebook.com/The Andrew Talks. That's TheAndrewTops. See ya!
Before we get back to the episode, you should check out this Pipe Network show.
Catch the Pizarra Tales weekly as we tackle issues about education and share experiences about teaching. Hosted by Jay Australia, available on your favorite podcast platforms.
Niña and I were recording one night when our ears stung from an eerie soundbite. For a third voice came in and gave their replies, and suddenly, to our surprise,
We have a guest.
On Farts there is a guest.
We have a guest.
It was the very best.
We have a guest.
We were very impressed.
We have a guest.
That we now have a guest. Yes, that's right, guys. We have a guest, and you guys know who this guest is. It's your boy, Wesley. Hi, Wes. So, we're finally going to be talking all about you. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Wesley is the host of Review and a lot of other podcasts. He's like, parang, di ba, I would say you are a co-host of other podcasts.
Yeah. Fast
Yeah.
Cut Podcast, yes.
And then for a while, you did
The PPD show. Ay,
the PPD show. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember everything, pero it's not. Buti na lang you're here to give me all the facts. The source is here to tell us everything. Okay, so actually, of course, you're my good podcasting friend. You're one of like my first friends sa podcasting community, and you actually guested in the live game night live show of Farts when we celebrated the nomination for the PPD Awards.
Yes.
So, how was your experience that night?
Oh, masaya siya yung game mismo. Pero like what I told you, 'di ba, sa Discord tayo naka-connect lahat. Yung laptop ko kasi hindi ko alam kung ba't di gumagana yung Discord sa kanya. Like nakakapasok ako tas napuputol. Kung babalikan niyo yung video nung stream ng Farts, lagi akong nawawala. Nadi-disconnect every once in a while kasi nawawala yung audio nung microphone ko dun sa Discord dito sa laptop. Kaya I ask ngayon, 'di ba, na I can't do sa Discord. Kaya
Kasi you're afraid that same
dito tayo
thing will
ngayon
happen
sa
again. We're actually recording on Messenger
yeah.
Room. So, for
Mm-mm.
those of you who don't know, can you please give like a quick summary of what review is? Like your podcast review.
Yeah, all right. So, Review Podcast is a weekly show on your favorite podcast streaming platform, where I just babble about the latest movie and TV releases, especially yung mga personal picks ko. Kahit local pa yan or even foreign, tinatry kong bigyan ng review and reaction yung mga bagong release na palabas, and even the ones na nagtitrend. Yan, tinatry nating bigyan ng mga reviews yan. So, lumalabas ang new episodes ng reviews every Saturday. Pero ngayon, I also try to release twice a week. So, Tuesdays and Saturdays. Yan.
Now you say you babble on, but actually, review is one of those podcasts that I found that's heavily researched. That's one of the things I've noticed while listening to your podcast is that you do a lot of research, and I guess
Mm-mm.
that's not babbling. That's prepared speech. Di
Mm-mm.
ba?
It's like super well done on research. Andrew and I was like, we're like, wow, like, okay, we're just gonna sit here and then like this is our like little this is our little research from like our thing, and then
I
like
was like, buti pa siya. So that's why that's actually partly why we're so nervous to have you on the show kasi we're like, "Oh my god, mga topics niya it's so
it's like
heavily researched."
yeah,
Tapos
well
tayo kay
done.
on the day pa tayo maghanap ng story. I mean, parang ganun. I mean, we don't actually do that. We don't actually do that, but it's
No,
like that.
no. But like that's how it feels like in general. That like comparing like our research like with our stories and stuff. It's like okay.
O hindi naman, grabe naman. I enjoy listening to farts rin naman. Pero I try to give my honest opinions on the things that I watch. Pero I make it a point that alam mo yun, I'm giving my listeners something na merong basis. So, kaya I make it a point na at least I research on some stuff about what I watch.
Mhm. So with regards to, like what you watch and like your research, like do you have like a specific lineup or like do you always like have like okay this movie is gonna come out this year and then it's on this one, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna review it, or like depende na lang. Is it like whatever comes by, or
Yeah, so last year, nung when I was still having guests last year. Kasi ngayon ano medyo nagso-slow down ako sa guests kasi I'm a bit busy with school.
mm,
So ngayon wala muna akong mga guests. So last year, it depends on my guest. I invite people that I know, maybe my friends, someone from the podcasting community then, and ask them, "Uy, what's your favorite movie or what do you watch? Maybe, we can talk about it on the show." So, yung content ko last year was heavily dependent on my guests. So, kaya yung sinabi niya ay Andrew commented na parang, "Uy, ba't wala masyadong horror horror movie
genre.
or horror TV show or thriller na nare-review." So, wala pa. Pero maybe soon. Maybe soon. So, ngayon pala.
Excuse me.
So, ngayon,
Horror? What your guest? You looking for a guest? Horror?
yeah.
Yeah, joke lang.
Low-key,
What were you
low-key.
saying?
Yeah, so ngayon, I try to, since wala muna akong guest ngayon, I try to do short reviews muna on the latest releases. So, may that be on Netflix or Apple TV or Amazon Prime. Yung mga latest na lumalabas, yung tinatry kong gawa ng reviews and upload them kaagad. Like, after maybe 3 days or a week after the movie or the season nung palabas was released. So, that's what I do ngayon.
Yeah, that's what I actually noticed sa ano mo, sa latest episodes mo. It's a
Mhm.
lot shorter,
Mm-mm.
and
Yeah.
then parang I'm like, oh, I think he took a different direction, but it's still good nonetheless. It's
Yeah,
still,
it's really
uh,
well made.
and it's not parang it was actually most of your new episodes are the same length as your first episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking, oh, bumalik siya sa roots niya or something like that. Diba? Char. So now speaking of reviewing films and TV shows, what got you into doing that? What made you decide, oh, I'll start doing this?
All right. So pandemic year 2020, a lot of people were looking for something they can do, 'di ba? So ako nung nag-lockdown last year, March, uh, I was just watching stuff which I like doing naman talaga ever since. Ang high school pa lang kung ano-ano nang pinapanood ko and sabi ko, why don't I start a YouTube channel, 'di ba? Sabi ko, ayoko kasi ano, parang hindi ako comfortable being in front of the camera. I parang nasanay ako na doing directing and uh, organizing stuff for things like that. Tapos nakita ko si podcasting, hindi ko na maalala kung saan mismo. Pero I listen to podcast yung sa Podcast Network, mythology, yung lore, and yung cult, and Welcome to Night Vale. Nakikinig na ako ng podcast uh, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Pero I never knew how easy it was to do until last year when I was looking for something I can do. Ano kayang pwede kong gawin na ayoko naman gumawa ng YouTube channel. So tinry kong aralin kung paano mag-podcast and sabi ko ano namang iko-content ko, right? Sabi ko I watch a lot of movies, I watch a lot of shows. Why don't I give reviews on this stuff. So ayun tinry ko tas eventually alam mo naman 'di ba sobrang hirap mag-start pero when you get into doing what you do eventually natututunan mo kung paano siya pagandahin. And then with the help of people then the things you learn sa mga communities na nasasamahan mo and you get better at it. So ayun, thank you so sa mga naging friends sa podcasting community.
Oh, that's so sweet. I hope you're talking about us. But anyway, right. So, I actually wanna bring this topic, to a hard left and talk about one thing that you said in one of your episodes. Oh, diba? I keep receipts. You made a controversial remark in one of your episodes. And when I heard it, I was like, "What? How could you say that?" Now, you reviewed with a W, reviewed Winx Fate the Winx Saga.
Yeah.
And there, you said, and I quote, Stella was every boy's my age fantasy. No, that is wrong. That is wrong.
Akala ko kung ano.
It's not Stella. How could you? Not every boy likes Stella.
Really?
Some boys like
Yeah.
Brandon too.
Si Brandon pala yung yung bet nung iba.
Particularly some 10-year-old boy here who's now 24 years old. Wala lang. I was just listening to it and then I was like, what? How could he say Stella was every boy's fantasy? No. I will write this down. I will make sure to mention it to him when I talk to him again. So now you did mention that your process of choosing films before depended on the guest and then now it depends on the latest releases. Is there like a formula? Do you have anything parang any criteria that you're picking before you set that as your topic for that day or that
Oh.
episode?
Syempre number one, I have to be interested in the title, in the release itself. Which is to say, I watch anything naman. Basta, hindi, alam mo yun, hindi a Serbian film or hindi, ang tawag dito, Human Centipede. Papanoorin ko naman yun. So, tinitingnan ko rin kung gaano siya ka-hype sa audiences? Like, are people looking forward to watch this? Kung adapted ito sa isang libro, kamusta yung reception dun sa book? Kung sino yung producers, sino yung directors, kung inaabangan ba to ng tao. So, mainly ganun. Pero most likely, anything naman na lumabas, basta may time akong panoorin.
So, like you mentioned the books. Do you like try to cross-reference? Like, example, like a movie came out like this time, and then there was a book based on it, and so on, so on. Do you try to cross-reference, like, which is better, the book or the movie? Do you do that?
I will try
Or
to
like,
kasi like ngayong January 21 I started to read books again. Like parang nakasampu na ata ako ng libro. Ngayon today.
Palakpakan, guys.
wow.
So, pero meron kasing lumabas lately na sa Netflix, kakatapos ko lang kanina. It's parang limited series siya, Behind Her Eyes, which is
Ay, akala ko Bridgerton.
the Bridgerton, hindi ko pa napapanood. Pero
Oh
based
God.
din siya sa book, right?
That
Based din siya
show.
sa book.
Oo.
Pero hindi ko pa siya napanood. So,
Oh, hold on.
The word na I can
Just a
never
really quick,
pronounce.
just a really quick, last episode kasi, we talked about Bridgerton.
mm-mm.
Tapos, Niña couldn't say Bridgerton. She kept saying Bridgenton. So, so I said Bridgerton. Okay, and what were you saying?
Again, the show where we butcher names.
Ayun, so merong kakalabas lang na limited series which is based from a book. Yung title niya is Behind Her Eyes. Na critically acclaimed daw yung book. So ngayon, after ko panoorin yung series, I'm trying to read it. Then so I can see kung paano yung naging difference or paano nila binago, paano nila inadapt yung libro into, teleplay, into a limited series. So ganun. I'm trying to do that ngayon. And
So,
one of the and also pala,
go.
I search on upcoming titles, specifically sa of course Netflix and Apple TV or Amazon Prime, yung mga in production nila na series. Kasi karamihan ay based from a book. So inuunahan ko ngayon ng pagbasa. So kapag pag lumabas na siya, pag pinanood ko na, alam ko na kung paano siya dun sa libro. So ayun, inuunahan ko ngayon yung mga upcoming.
So actually, this episode will be released. Spoiler alert. We are recording this in February. But this episode will be released on March. Have you planned that far away into what movies you will or series that you will be talking about?
What's coming out in March is an Apple original movie titled Cherry, which stars sino to si Spider-Man, Tom Holland, and Ciara
Yeah.
Bravo. So, ayun, I think papanoorin ko siya. Or most likely, pag narinig nyo to, napanood ko na. And dadating na siya anytime sa review podcast. So, abangan ng lahat eh.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Now, of course, you mentioned why no horror films. It's because we haven't guessed it in
Yeah.
your podcast yet. Wink, 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 wink. But speaking of horror stuff, of course, this is the frightening, alarming real life tale show. So we have a part where you get to actually share your personal, frightening, alarming real life tale. Do you have
Ayan.
one?
Yeah, oo. Actually, hinukay ko pa to sa baul. Kasi hindi ko siya masyadong kinikwento kasi it's really frightening and alarming. And sure ako na nangyari siya kasi nakita rin ng kaibigan ko. So what happened was that in grade school, walking distance lang kasi yung school namin pauwi ng bahay. And I go to pag lunch kasi umuwi kami ng bahay kasi walking distance nga lang. So kami nung kaklase ko and some other classmates, magkakalapit lang yung bahay. Meron kaming nadadaanan na imagine a 2-story house. Tapos Normal house, normal two-story house. The only difference is that imagine yung second floor niya, merong window, tapos merong door. Yung door na yon nandito sa surface nung ano, nandito sa harap sa front ng house. So pag binuksan mo yung door na yon, pag lumabas ka galing sa loob, mahuhulog ka kasi wala naman silang terrace. Basta merong window, tas meron ding door. Ngayon, one lunch, pauwi kami ng classmate ko. Grade school ito ha, siguro grade 4, grade 5 kami. Nadaanan namin yung house, tapos nagulat kami kasi merong matandang babae na nakasilip sa bintana, naka-white siya. Tapos nakasilip lang siya sa bintana. Tapos nagulat kaming dalawa. Tapos tumakbo kami nung kaklase ko na yun. Tapos pagbalik namin, nung babalik na kami, tiningnan uli namin. Nandun pa rin siya. So hindi na lang namin pinansin. Tapos pag uwi namin ng hapon, nung dismissal na talaga, nakita namin merong paa na nakataas. Parang alam mo yung nakasandal yung paa sa bintana. Tapos nakatayo pa rin dun yung babae. So, kami ng classmate ko, kasi kasabay na namin pauwi yung teacher namin nun. Tinuro namin dun sa teacher namin, sabi niya wala naman daw. Pero kami ng classmate ko, nakita talaga namin na merong tanda babae na naka-white. Tapos merong paa na nakasandal dun sa window. Tapos, ayun, natakot kami. Sabi namin, wag na lang naming pansinin. Tapos, hindi na kami tumingin ever. Pag dumadaan kami dun sa bahay na yun, di kami tumitingin sa taas or whatnot. Basta nilalagpasan na lang namin. Tapos, ayun, after a week, nagkaroon ng funeral doon sa bahay. Parang namatay yung owner na matandang lalaki. So, ayun.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
signs.
Wait, so these people that you've seen, are they were like not just wearing white, but they were also pale? Ganon?
Oo, parang ganun. Yeah. Yung babae lang yung nakita namin kasi nakatayo yung babae. Feeling namin asawa niya yun or something. Ayun, naka-white na pangkasal nga yung yung parang gown niya. Tas just nakatayo lang siya. Hindi naman siya nakatingin sa amin, pero nakatayo lang siya. Yun. Kaya
Oh my
natakot
God.
kami talaga kasi after a week or 2 weeks.
So like how long like have you been like walking in that like area about like you said that you walked and then you noticed and then a week later like you heard that someone died and then like how
No,
long have you lived in the area and then like have continued to avoid looking at the house?
every day. Kasi daan papuntang school eh. Yun lang
And then
that's
you
the
haven't
only way.
moved
Oo.
for like
Hindi na lang kami
okay.
tumitingin sa taas. Like, lalagpasan na lang natin.
Parang, covering my eyes, covering my eyes. Okay, we're past the house na. Okay, good.
Okay,
Ay,
go. Like, buti naman like if the ghost didn't like stand in the middle of the road while you were walking. It was like
hindi
scary
naman. Nandun
though.
lang talaga sa
Like in
taas.
the house. Okay, at
Yeah.
least like
Kaya,
dyan ka lang, peace tayo, stay there. I'm good. I'm just gonna keep walking. You do you, I do
Parang,
me. Like, okay.
parang the ghost was ahead of its time rin.
Social distancing.
social,
Sa taas lang siya nag-stay.
Second floor.
sa loob lang nung
Inside.
bahay.
Baka
See,
na-feel niya
quarantine.
na
Mga
Game na
territorial.
niya, quarantine na siya. Thank you so much, Wesley, for that wonderful fart.
Thank you.
That deserves 5 farts out of 5. And that's it, guys. That's the show. Now before we leave, where can people find you, Wesley?
Ayun. So, of course, review podcast. New episodes every Tuesdays and Saturdays. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Review Podcast. Yan. So, pwede kayo magbigay ng recommendations nyo or movie recommendations, TV recommendations. And thank you, Andrew and Niña, for inviting me dito.
No, anytime,
Aw.
anytime. And like I'll look forward for your review on on like the Netflix na movie, the live action series by Tim Burton. It's called Wednesday. I look forward for that soon.
Ay, in production pa lang no?
Nagparamdam
Yeah.
na si...
Like low-key, guys, low-key. Very subtly, like giving my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Farts.
Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, at Review Podcast.
And that's review with a W.
W.
W R. How do you spell review?
W-
V.
Mm-mm.
Sige, go. You spell it.
That's WREVIEW podcast.
Where we butcher names and
Pasensya na po.
spelling.
We don't just kill names. We also kill
How to spell,
the spelling of words. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the frightening, alarming, real-life tales show. You can follow Niña on all her socials at Nin C Fernandez. That's NINCFERNANDEZ. I'm at the Andrew Tops on everything, and the show's Facebook and Twitter is at FARTSPod. If you've got a scary story you'd like to share, you can email fartspod@gmail.com or message us on all our socials. We also have a Discord, guys, so if you want to come and hang out with us, we frequently talk about anything scary in there, and we also post memes and such. The link will be in the show notes of this episode. Until next week, I finished my spiel. The music is not done yet.
Bye.
Damn it. Bye.
Like a long bye.
I was planning to end the spiel just as the music ends in the one episode. Okay, there you go. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you
Say
so
bye,
much.
Tirso. Bye, Tirso.
Bye.
Bye, Tirso. Bye, soundboard, Tirso.
Bye.
Wait, whose kid was that in the background kanina? I heard kid.
Hello.
Wala ba yung tao dito, Bash? Like, legit.
I'll let you listen to the recording later. I heard a
Okay.
kid.
I mean, like there were people, like, nagbaba sila from the elevator. And
Okay,
like,
pala.
kept talking. But, like, there's no kid. Like, all adults sila, like, talking. So, yay! Fun.
Haunted kanins. Haunted. Okay.
I know, right? And it's always kids. It's annoying.
Well, you know what they say. You know, parang I'll be where I relate. So
What say? You never said the
kasi
same. I'm like waiting.
you're a kid, so
Fuck no.
naturally ghost kids would be attracted to you. Okay, we're coming back.
Like, do I need to like bring my birth certificate all around and then like post it somewhere? Na like, guys, okay, don't hunt me. I'm like not a child.
Hello,
Go hunt someone
ghost.
else.
Hindi po ako kid. I'm just short. I'm just
Okay,
naturally
bye.
short.